up, dude? Hey, everybody. What's going on? So guess what?
What?
I went and looked at buying some hypo stuff today.
Did you really?
No.
All right. Well, Brandon's not allowed to talk for the rest of the night, so we're just going to go ahead and mute him. Anyway, today we have Marvelous Reptiles with us. You're muted. No one can hear you. Laugh all you want.
That's some bullshit, right?
So anyway, like I was saying, tonight we have Marvelous Reptiles with us, and we're here to talk about kind of a bunch of different things. They work with several different species, but mainly they're geckos, right? They work with the crested geckos, the gargoyles, and they also have recently started getting into some leechies, which are awesome. Definitely one of the gecko species that I would love to work with. Yes.
Yep.
For sure. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and bring them on. Hey, how's it going?
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Good. Awesome.
No, you can hear us though?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Everything's
Cool.
good.
So why don't you guys give us a quick intro, who you are, what you do, what you work with, stuff like that.
Everyone's like, "Aw, she's putting his arm around him." No, they out pulls the gecko.
Not happening.
So, you want me to just start from the beginning, or do you want me to start from when we started the business?
Go from the beginning.
I mean, just like everybody else, I started collecting reptiles from as soon as I can run around, and be outside on my own. But I really got struck with the more industrial, in the industry when I got my first ball python in '88.
In '88? Hold on. Slow down.
I wasn't born then, and I don't think Brandon was.
Hold on a second. First things first, tell people your names.
I'm Mike, and this is my beautiful wife, Svenja.
Hi, I'm Svenja. This is my beautiful husband.
Hold on, he's trying to...
Oh, I love it.
All right, so 2 years before I was born, you got your first ball python.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got my first ball python. It actually turned out to be a female, but she was just a pet. I named her Crusher. I had her for, 6-8 years. And my dad got out of the military, so we ended up moving, and we were going to move into my grandmother's house temporarily, and she did not want snakes. So I had to get rid of Crusher. And then I joined the military in 2000. And a few years after getting kind of settled in, I started picking up the bug again and had to have reptiles again. And, the ball python market was really getting going. And I was like, you know what? I want to get some reptiles. And I started getting ball pythons, and I had bearded dragons. I even bought a few crested geckos, but they were like real new in the market out there. And yeah. And then after that, a buddy of mine that was in the military, we kind of linked up, and we came up with the idea of Marvelous Reptiles, or Marvel Reptiles, and, naming our animals after Marvel characters. And so that first collection, you don't think when you're first in the military, you're going to move as much as you do. Well, we both get orders. He gets orders for Hawaii. I get orders for DC. So we end up dissolving our first collection, and I move off, he moves off, and a few years into DC, and I decide I want to get a few more, and I start building a whole nother collection. And I said, this time I'm not going to dissolve it like I did last time. I'm going to give it to another friend when I know I have to move this time, and I'll get it back when I come back to the States. Well, it didn't work that way. He pretty much sold off my stuff, gave away my stuff. He didn't want to keep, not my friend Joe, different guy. He didn't even keep up with me. So kind of hosed me on my collection. I had some really nice stuff too. And then I went over to Germany and I was there for quite some time, and I was kind of disheartened about everything, and I didn't want to get into reptiles, especially in Europe. I was like, I didn't know how to get them over here. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I met my beautiful wife, and one day she goes, "Hey, can we get a pet?" And I said, "I don't know. What do you want to get?" And she's like, "I don't know, something easy to keep." And I said, "Reptiles are easy to keep." And she's like, "Okay, can we get a bearded dragon?" I said, "I really don't want to get a bearded dragon. I bred them. I kept them for a few years. They're a lot of work."
Yeah.
I said, "How about a crested gecko?" So we went out to our first show out in Germany. I don't even remember the name of it.
I think it was in Frankfurt. Or,
Yeah, Frankfurt.
Or
yeah.
Wiesbaden, something like that.
Yeah, Frankfurt or Wiesbaden. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a small little show, local show there, and we found a gecko we liked, Spot, right?
No, it was some little Dalmatian crested gecko. But
Wasn't Spot?
no,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, we ended up getting a gecko there, and we took it home and we set it up in this beautiful bioactive tank. I mean, huge enclosure. No intention of breeding or anything like that. Just we wanted some pets, and the bug kind of hit her. So
Her. Yeah.
yes, the bug hit her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Let's go to another show." So we went to another show and we found some more. And then she found in Germany they have what's the
Yeah, it is kind of like Craigslist, just a different name. I think it's Quokka. And I found that guy, Patrick D. Kerner. He's a very big breeder in Germany. In fact, if any of you guys are looking for geckos from Europe, you should really check him out. His business is Rheingau Geckos. And we got in touch with him, went over there, checked out his place. He's got his whole house set up. He's got tanks everywhere. He does not just have a reptile room. And we started picking up geckos from him. That was how our breeding.
Yeah, that's how it really started with the breeding. Was
I don't want to call it business. That's
no. At that time, it was not even a thought of a business. It was just we wanted to just do a little bit of breeding and just learn about the animals. And he was a very good source for us too, because educational wise, taught us a lot. And then he believed in keeping everything natural and also the species specific. So he's collected every locality of Leachianus, Chihuahua.
That's fucking wild.
He's got everything, and his goal is to have every gecko species known. So, but after him, and then we decided, let's go to Ham. So we decided to go to Ham, and we drove up to Ham. It's like a 3-hour drive from where we were living.
The Ham show is the shit.
Yeah.
We went to Ham, and that show was huge.
It's big.
Yeah, and that's where we met Nick Lum from Lily Exotics, and we saw lilies for the first time in person, and we were our jaw just dropped to the floor. It was just like, wow. And of course, talking to Nick Lum, and he gave us this great deal on these animals, and we worked out this deal with him. And we also found out about Dutch Dragon importers while we were there, and we found out we could import our animals. So we're like, you know what, let's get make a collection here, and we could bring them back. And that's when it started formulating into this idea of having a real business then. And then we ordered some geckos from Nick and got some stuff prepared to ship, and we shipped over about 15 geckos back to the US from Europe. And that was our founding stock here. So a good portion of our bloodline is European. So,
very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's who I had to go through when I was in Germany to move all my stuff.
Yeah.
So in Korea, Dutch Dragon is legit as fuck. So you guys are pretty known for lychees, for lily whites. You guys hatch a fuck ton of lily whites. What is a lily white?
You want to grab one?
Yes, I'm going to show you.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. The top one there.
Yeah, just the top one.
Yeah, you'll have to hold it because. Yeah. So these are actually some of our babies that we produced last year.
Yes.
They're not fired up right now, but These
I don't know
guys
if you
here.
guys can see them good. This is one of our babies from last year. We had about
Wow.
50 lily white babies. This is a holdback.
So how much does a lily white go for?
This one, so it depends on the quality. So you want to look for high whites on the side and structure, a clean dorsal. That's what that white part on the back is called.
Okay.
Head structure.
Head structure. And this particular one, if you wanted to buy it, would be $2,500. But
Wow.
you could also get one for $500. It really depends on the quality. It's
Right.
snakes.
All of our animals have good structure. That's how we pride ourselves too.
Yeah.
So.
Right, because almost you would call it like a conformation in other animals is like a big part of the quality of a crested gecko, right? Like with us for the ball pythons, it just comes down to color. Like how bright, how much contrast, how well does it hold color, right? But with the geckos, like you're talking about like the head structure, because you want, if I remember correctly, because it's been years, but I did breed cresteds for a while, just kind of started getting into it. You want a rather wide head top structure, right? Yeah. Like if I remember right, they said like a lot of the really good crestos, you can almost fit like a quarter on the top of the head. Like you want that real wide head structure. Yes. And then if I remember correctly as well, like almost I don't know if you want to call them spines, but like along the dorsal, like you want those to be complete, right? You don't want like big breaks in the spines along the dorsal. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. See, I remember a little bit. It's been a while, but I remember a little bit.
Good.
Yeah, and then you also look for things like floppy tail syndrome or metabolic bone disease on these guys too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And
so explain to us a little bit what floppy tail syndrome, like what do you look for in floppy tail syndrome?
Yeah.
So like when they hang upside down, you'll see their tail just flop over and it'll hang that way. And it doesn't really affect the animal, but it's more of a visual thing. It does pass along, we've noticed, with some of our geckos. We did have a few that we had that had it. Yeah. And we've since culled 95% of them out of our collection because it's more of an aesthetic thing. Okay. But a lot of people do tend to lose the tails on them. That's another thing we pride ourselves on. I'd say a good 90% of our animals have their tails.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's more, one with a tail or a frog butt? Does that change the price?
No, it does not affect the quality. You still have the same animal. Yeah. You also have the same lineage. That's what matters a lot nowadays with crested geckos. So, like, if I cut your ear off and you make babies, it's still your child, and it's a good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, your DNA.
Yeah, for sure.
DNA.
Yeah, you're going to pass along that structure and everything else, the colors,
no matter what.
The vibrance too comes out with them a little more with the lilies. I've noticed.
Yeah, definitely.
So if anything, it's like personal preference. Like some people prefer the tail and some people don't, right? Yeah. There's no true effect to the animal.
Yeah. What I've met people that say if it doesn't have a tail, we don't want to buy it. So,
right.
But it doesn't even affect when they climb or anything either.
Yeah, I know. It's just, again, I think it's just personal preference at that point. Yeah. Like some people want a tail and some people don't care. I even have some people that prefer it. Like they think it's cute when they don't, just to have no tails.
We actually have a gecko named Frog Butt, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So why can't Cresties grow their tail back?
So that's actually why they broke off from the Rhacodactylus. Was one of their factors because like the gargoyles, these guys, and I want to say the chewies.
The chewies are they Rhacodactylus?
No, I don't. I can't remember. Yeah. Like I said, we don't really work with them.
Are
right. Yeah.
So these guys are Rhacodactylus leachianus. They used to be Rhacodactylus ciliatus. Now they're Coleophas ciliatus, the crested geckos. So they put them in their own, and I believe it's because of that tail growth.
because they can't
Okay.
grow it back. So
Yeah.
so leeches and gargoyles can grow their tails back.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Very interesting. I did not know that. Very cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
I've never personally had a cresty that dropped a tail, but I do know people and I've like seen videos. So interesting to see it like right after they drop it and the tail is still like moving around and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's the move. It's creepy.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, for
Well,
sure.
it's a defense mechanism, so they shed it so they can keep predators from eating them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah, 100%. So then so everyone knows the background on ball pythons, right? A whole bunch came from Africa. People were just breeding normals. They were this garbage pet. And then we were able to make them captive, born and bred. And then morphs came in, and that was the whole thing. So what's the story behind Crusties then?
So for a long time, they thought they were extinct in the wild, and then Philip Beaujolais,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a French
he went
guy.
there on an expedition, and while they were in one of the buildings there, a crested gecko dropped down onto the skylight, and they saw the first one. And I want to say it was 96.
It was
Mhm.
in the 90s.
Yeah, I want to say it was 96, and then he brought over some, and he worked with them. I think they brought some into Europe. Actually, the majority of them went into Europe first, and then we got them after Europe did. So
Damn.
Very
And that's so crazy, dude. I'd be like, if I were you, because you're such like an old head, I'd be like, man, I was buying normals before when crested geckos were extinct. Like I'd be rubbing it in people's faces.
yeah,
That's interesting though. I didn't realize that the crested gecko hadn't been like it's been on the market for a while, I guess, but it's relatively new too. Like it's not something that's been out there circulating for long periods of
and
time.
it only really spurred with all the different colors and patterns and mutations. Now, actually, there's not even that many known mutations with them, or like verified. Like with ball pythons, we know that there's a spider and that it's a dominant gene, and or banana or whatever. You can like definitively say that's what it is.
Yep.
With crested geckos, there's only a few that they can definitively say that's a lily white, that's an axanthic, that's a Dalmatian, or a super stripe or something like that. But you got things out there like Harleys and extreme Harleys and stuff like that. Sometimes they just randomly come out, and you wonder why or how. Is it a hidden gene or a heterozygous or something like that? Is it polymorphic? What is it?
Right. Yeah, I remember that was a big thing why I kind of got out of cresties, because all of my crested geckos came from like pet stores pretty much to begin with, right? Because I had no intention on breeding. Well, when we started breeding ball pythons, I'm like, hey, maybe we should breed the cresties too. I had a few other ones, and I started looking into all the different stuff, and I'm like, okay, so this is this and this is that, and I was thinking of it like ball pythons, like you said, like it looks like this, so it's definitive what it is. Got it with a couple of breeders, and they're like, there's no way of knowing what that is because you don't know anything about where it came from or what. They're like, we can go based off the look, but that really doesn't tell you anything, because they might throw babies that look like that, and they might throw babies that look completely different, so it's very interesting.
Yeah, we'll have like a high pattern lily white, and it'll throw a low pattern.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that with the pieds too. You can get a low pattern pied or a high pattern pied.
Yep.
Pythons. So, yeah.
Exactly. Very interesting. Very cool. So, let's see.
What other cold-blooded stuff you have other than crested geckos?
So obviously we have the Leachianus, we have gargoyles, we have ball pythons, we've got hognose, we've got a rainbow boa, I've got a GTP. What else do we have?
A gray banded.
A gray band, and
we have. I'm losing track. I think that's it as for the reptiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, and we have one sulcata.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's a baby though. He's a little
Donatello.
guy. Donatello, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he was just on my story the other day. So, All right.
I
Well, what
love
do you?
tortoises. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always been like, I want to have one, but we've never gone out and actually gotten one yet to keep as a pet. And then I just recently got to have an interaction with some Galapagos tortoises. And I was like, dude, hands down, like there's
Yeah.
nothing cuter than like a herd of 10 Galapagos like charging you when you walk in the enclosure. And then they come over and they stretch up and all they want is like scratches and love-ins. And I'm like, oh my God, these are the coolest
They're very
things.
personable.
Dude,
Yes.
And they know
looked into
you. They
the
can
permit.
ID you. They can see. They can sense. Yeah.
They're
And
Yes,
smart.
yeah, it was very cool. I'd only ever had experience with like really little hatchlings at like shows or something, you know, where they're just kind of like they're scared and curled up, and you know they're just. But yeah, that was they're very personable. I was very surprised. Like you would not think of tortoises as being
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
I call tortoises and turtles the saviors of the reptile community, because I
Right.
can't tell you how many times where like legally we've been like up shit's, you know, what do they call it, up shit's creek without a paddle,
yeah,
right? And then you'll have a dude like Ty Park over in Florida who opens up, what is it, Iguana Land or whatever, and then this school comes in and these kids see these turtles and take pictures, and then it becomes a huge thing and all these people donate money for turtles, but it's just to save all the reptiles. Like turtles, I hear all these stories where turtles and tortoises save the industry.
Oh yeah.
Because they are cute and people don't necessarily think of reptiles when you show them a turtle or a tortoise.
Yeah.
People hear reptiles as a big lizard or a snake, and most people are just creeped out by it.
Right.
So yeah, I can see why you're saying that they are the saviors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cute
dude.
little, you know.
And you need a hefty permit, because I looked into one 2 years ago to breed Galapagos.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Galops are they're very.
You need
Why?
credentials
Yep.
and the permit.
And I'm pretty sure to purchase one as well, like they have to have the paperwork. You know what I mean? Like if you get caught purchasing a Galapagos without the paperwork, like you can be big legal trouble there. I know they had some at Arlington, and they were going for $9,000 a piece. $9,000 a piece.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is I was going to say they're not.
Yeah,
when I was looking into getting my permit, they were upwards of $100,000.
Yeah,
because they were still not established yet.
Yes.
Yeah, we would like to do Aldabras one day.
Oh yeah,
that'd be amazing. Very cool.
Yeah, and they're social too, so they like to be together. So.
Right. Yeah. No, that'd be awesome. That'd be. Yeah, tortoises. I feel like I would want to live somewhere south that had land. Like I just feel like you would have to in order to have tortoises like that, you know. Plus, I've heard that they can be just very destructive as well. Like I've got people that like they eat my baseboards in my house, you know.
Yeah, I know Troy. I don't know if Troy's up in the chat still. I know he was, but he his silk codices out outside half the year and inside the other half the year.
Yes.
That's fucking crazy.
I forgot to switch it over to the chat.
Oh, yeah, dude. Fuck it. Okay, so what's the crusty market like? Because I've heard up and down, especially maybe the past 18 months or so, that the crested gecko market is very oversaturated. So speak to me about the crested market and how it works in your opinion.
So yeah, it's very saturated, but it's because they are very easy to breed. Very easy. You pretty much put two together, they're gonna make eggs, and you can incubate them at room temperature, so they just produce, you know. It's kind of like backyard breeders mostly. You know, you get people that just breed to breed and to not make good quality stuff, and they think they're going to make $1 million. And then you got people that, like ourselves, that we want to produce nice, good quality stuff. Don't get me wrong, we want to make the money too, but at the same time, we want to produce good quality animals. So, but yeah, the market is, you got a lot of these little guys popping up, and they're taking over a lot of the shows, and they're on the Craigslist, and they're on all these different, Facebook places and stuff like that, and Instagram and whatnot, selling their $20 geckos because they produced 50 of them this year and they just got to get rid of them. And then people wonder why our geckos cost as much as they do. It's because of the bloodlines. It's because of the quality of the animals, the lineage we track all the way back to Europe and all the other places that we track our lineage back to. So, but yes, to answer your question, it is saturated. It's kind of like, I don't know, ball python market. You see like every Dick and Harry's got a ball python now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
say something too.
No.
what I kind of take from that, really, when you're talking about like backyard breeders or lineage breeders, and I kind of get this from both sides. I understand what you're saying with the ball python market, right? Anyone can breed ball pythons. I mean, I know people that keep 5 ball pythons in a 40-gallon breeder, and they got a female that lays a clutch of eggs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they are very prolific, in all honesty, on how easily they are to breed. It's not like a lot of these species where you got to monitor highs and lows and have a temp drop and all this fun stuff, right? But what I mainly hear from this too is lack of information and education in the crested gecko community as a whole, right? And mainly to the public. You obviously have your niche people that know what quality is, they know what lineage is, they know what a correct or high quality gecko is supposed to look like, right? But then you get a lot of these people who are just kind of getting in it and want it maybe as a pet or something along those lines. They don't understand the importance of lineage or a quality looking gecko. But that's very interesting. So have you guys found any issues with geckos? So I'm guessing, can you line breed geckos pretty heavily, or do you need to outcross bloodlines? Like, how, I don't want to say how important is that lineage, but when we work with gliders, again, they're a marsupial, not a reptile, so quite a bit different. But inbreeding is a really big thing, which is why we keep lineage, right? And I'm guessing you guys are working with a relatively small gene pool of crested geckos as well. So how much do you notice that the inbreeding or line breeding, does it affect the babies? Do you guys have to outsource every once in a while? How does that all work?
So we personally try not to inbreed them or do any line breeding. And I honestly don't know anybody who does it.
Okay.
I have not heard of any effects if you would do it.
Yes, neurological stuff comes from. Yeah, that's where they get some of their neurological stuff.
Yeah,
kind of like the spider gene in the ball pythons. Yeah.
Right. But it's genetic from the inbreeding. Yeah. So really, eventually these backyard breeders are probably going to start running into those issues, right? Because now they're bringing in geckos. They don't know the lineage. Maybe they're breeding brother to sister or sister to, dad to baby or something along those lines.
Not only that, a lot of them, I can't speak for people. I don't really know. But,
right.
You're going to PetSmart getting that cheap gecko or, they're getting them mass produced at like Mac and all these other places. Yeah. And who knows what they're doing with them over there to produce them. Yeah. And, or even that guy that gets 2 or 3 geckos from the same person, and then they're just putting them back to each other, back to back over and over again. And yeah, there's a possibility of them getting, and it's probably where floppy tail syndrome comes from. Can't say I know where it exactly comes from, but I'm pretty sure that's one of the neurological things that's coming from, it's a structural thing too.
Right.
And you notice narrower heads out of some of them.
Which is interesting because if you look at inbred cats, they get that very like sphinx, narrow head, you can tell. But that's super interesting because what we have to realize is if it's getting to a point where it's causing such a mutation because of inbreeding that we're seeing neurological effects, what internal effects are we not seeing? Like fatty liver or kidney disease or enlarged hearts or all this stuff that can obviously cause an animal to pretty much pass prematurely, and we don't have an explanation for it, right? Like maybe you get an autopsy and figure it out. But I always feel like if there's enough damage going on internally that it's causing an expression outside that we can actually see what is actually going on internally. And there's a lot of people in lineaged animals that think just because they get one animal from California and the other animal from New York, that they're not going to be related. But the fact is, we are working with such a small gene pool of animals that in a way, everything is pretty much related at this point. It's just how far out branched. Like, are we breeding brother to sister, or are we breeding like seventh cousin, you know, back?
Yeah, and we try to keep up with it too, because we breed hedgehogs as well. So you got to be very cautious with them because of the gene pool as well. And for us, with your licensing and all that other stuff, that she had to go through a mentorship and everything with them to breed them. So yeah, we are pretty strict on our lineage and not crossing back. But you're right, it is such a tiny gene pool. There's no way we're not getting something that has not been crossed in at some point.
Right.
Especially as the market grows, there's just no way to get new animals, you know?
Exactly.
So hopefully it's so outcrossed by the time we get back to whatever it is that it's not as bad anymore.
Right.
Well, hopefully not. We'll see, you know, in 10 years or 20 years from now.
Yeah.
When, you know,
that's the importance of having lineage too, is not only to be able to make sure that you're not crossing very close bloodlines, but almost to have that data, right? Like if you start seeing issues down the road and you're like, okay, which two lines is causing this, or how closely related are we causing this? Or are we realizing that if we put this with this, you know, that it's causing issues? So that's where, you know, in my opinion, obviously the lineage is important, and the education behind that for people looking into getting a crested gecko to say, look, yeah, you might be paying, you know, $100 instead of $20 or whatever the case may be, right? But you are helping, one, to support an animal that we hope you love, an industry that we hope you love because you're purchasing one as a pet, right? And you want to make sure that there are crested geckos for years to come, right, in the pet industry. But also just supporting the breeders that obviously care about the animals and not just making that $20. Because, you know, of course, you know, if you're making it a business, you're hoping to at least break even, right? That's usually the hope, if not making a living off of it. But the people that are going to get there are the people that are willing to put in that time and money and research up front, not the people that are buying $60 pet store geckos and taking them and breeding them and then hoping that they're going to hit big and make millions. So or even thousands at that point, right?
What about your guards and leechies then?
you want to see some of those?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is our largest female lychee that we have. We have 5 lychees. Her name's Ariel, and she's a Nuami, and we got her from
Carol Gravely
in OKC.
Oh,
Nuamis are big, right?
No, Nuami's tiny.
Or they stay small.
Yeah, she's about as big as she's gonna get, which is actually kind of small for a lychee. She's about 140 grams, 130 grams, something like that. And you're talking big ones are running 350, 400 grams.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mount Cogus.
Mount Cogus, GTs, Pine Islands. Those are your bigger ones. We don't own anything. Well, we have a GT cross, but he's crossed with a Nuami or Nuana. I can't remember. But he's going to stay. Well, we don't know yet because he's not full grown. So he's a little bit smaller than her, and he's about a half a year or a year younger than her. I can't remember.
He's a year younger.
Yeah. So.
I think leechies are so cool. I really wanted to get into GTs when we were looking into leechies originally. Like I said, I love the crusties, but there's something about the size of like a lychee that is just it's really so cool. Is. Like you just don't see geckos like that are big. You know, most of them are like cresties used to be the big gecko. You know, like most of them are like teeny.
And very delicate. With those guys, I feel you can do more. You can take them out, handle them. You don't feel like they fall apart. And I feel they have personality.
I love their feel to them. They just feel like velvety gloves. I don't know.
They're very cool. So kind of explain to us. You rattled off a lot of like the Nuami, you know, GT. Yeah. So lychees, we're looking at localities. Do they have
Yeah.
specific morphs or polymorphic traits? Like what all kind of goes into that?
So it's a localities that they come from. So we can't 100% prove that this animal is, but from the different scalation on it, the color patterns, the size, things like that, they're going to look a little different from locality to locality. So like a GT or the Grand Tar is from the mainland or the main island. It's the largest of the different Leachianus. But there's all different islands. There's an island chain there, and was there like 27, 30, something like that. I can't remember how many different Leachianus localities for them. And you have different islands, and they name them either by the island or they name them by like isles, Isle E, Isle D, Isle C.
Okay.
And there's Bayonnaise, they're named after the island chain that they're coming from. So
awesome. So
yeah.
So do we have, like, in the States, do we have like all 27 or 30 different localities, or
sure on if we in the US have that? I would hope. I mean, I don't know. I know there's a lot of people working with them here in the US. Alan Rapace obviously is one of them. Bringing over some of the first to the US, and then you have
Leap and Leachies,
the Hampers. You got Carl Vargas. He's got a lot, but I don't think he has a lot of locality specific. I think a lot of his are crosses.
okay.
He breeds more for the coloration and pattern. So he works with one, he calls it a granite line, and it's much more filled in, and it's a beautiful line. I wish I could afford that. It's super expensive. But yeah, he's and you got all different, just like different lines of OD in ball pythons. You got brighter ones or darker ones or whatever, and it's pretty much similar to that when you're working with these guys. They don't, at least I haven't seen anything that's a different mutation per se.
Okay.
That I can say that I've seen. Mount Kogas tend to be darker. The Fredline line is a very dark melanistic version of these guys. So, and they're pretty big too.
So you have some people that are like line breeding locality specific, right? To be like very pure lines. And then you have people that are crossing in order to see if they can kind of change up more of like the pattern and color and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we have one that's called a snowflake line. She's got tons of white on her, tons of white all over her neck, and her head and her back. It looks like snowflakes all over her. But she's quite feisty though, so we don't bring her out too much.
Yeah.
What's better, if you will, like we learned from our Corey Martin episode, right? That just like on the Morelia stuff, there are people who are purists and people who cross for that, phenotype or that polymorphic trait. So what in lychee land is better or more valued, or is it a split?
I don't think you can really define what is good and what is not as good. It is about personal preference, just like we talked about with the Cresties. Me personally, I don't think it matters if my animal is a Mount Kogas New Army cross, as long as it's a good, healthy, beautiful animal.
With good structure.
I'm sure there's people out there that absolutely want pure Brosse or pure Mount Kogas, but I don't think you can say
But you
that.
can't deny, like, Carls are gorgeous. I mean, even if you're a purist, you see those animals and you're like, wow, that thing is just stunning. And the pinks and the reds that he gets out of them.
Pinks.
Yes.
Yeah, we have one that I can't wait till it grows up. It's a baby, and the parents on that thing are a bright pink, red. So I hope it turns out the same way or better.
I definitely think there's room for both. Like we're talking about carpets specifically with Corey, and I know lychees. but I also think it's good to keep both, right? Like I think it's good to keep some lines pure, right? Like not to get everything so muddled that there is never any pure line, right? But then I also think, obviously, like you said, like, you know, getting a leafy that turns pink. Like, who doesn't want a pink gecko? You know, like, or the snowflake. Like, what if you could make it almost all white lychee someday? Or, you know, that almost, like in my mind, if you not necessarily line breed that, but breed the best examples to the best examples, and you get more white and less of the darker green colors, you'd almost have like a piebald looking gecko, because they'd be mostly white with like green speculation instead of green with the white, you know. So it'd be kind of interesting. But I definitely think there's routes for both. What do you guys prefer? Are you working specifically on making like a pure, or are you doing more of the polymorphic traits?
So we only have 5 lychees right now. So, you know, we are too small and too new into that breed to actually make pure Mount Koges or pure GTs, but we are shooting mostly for the high pink animals, which are considered very high end. That's something you automatically look for when you look for a lychee.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
they're beautiful. Like you said, I know we saw some at Vargas's table, and super amazing animals.
I gotta put her away. She's trying to eat our gargoyle baby here.
All right, sounds good.
So okay, then let's go to your guards. What do you speaking of, you know, Carl Vargas?
In the wild, those guys eat other geckos.
Yeah.
Interesting.
To kind of give you an idea, Leachianus are like the top predator on the island. And they live in the upper tier of the, kind of think of it like, you know, a food chain, you know, the in the highest part is, you know, the top. Well, they live in the high parts of the trees, and then come down to eat the lower geckos at night. Well, everything below them they eat. So even baby leeches, they'll eat, you know, the cresties, they'll eat gargoyles, they'll eat chihuahuas, they'll eat all sorts of stuff there.
Interesting.
Then I would be a lychee.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I would be a fucking lychee.
Totally, yeah.
You would be a high pink.
Goddamn right I would. The highest pink. I'd be breeding so many girl lychees, the whole island would turn pink. Straight up. 100%.
So this is one of our gargoyles that we produce, one of our babies.
Wow.
He's
Mini Smog.
this is Mini Smog.
Yeah.
Or Smog Junior, because we have a
Very
Smog upstairs, his daddy, that is all red with a red base with red striping and red blotches. They're both pretty much very similar. So this is one of our guys we're growing up to be a breeder soon, maybe next year. So
that is a really nice gargoyle. I mean, that is really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's not fired up right now, so his boring day colors, but yeah. At night, so we hope he will fill out for us more here in front of the camera and show his red base.
But yeah, he's a very nice one.
Do you have any Carl Vargas bacon line?
We have one actually. You want to grab that, baby?
Yeah,
we just got one recently.
Yeah,
very nice.
Boy.
Yep.
I'm a pretty big fan of the bacon stuff when it comes to
Yes.
Yeah, this guy's he's pretty hot one though.
Hey, he's pretty big for a little guy for how old.
Yeah, he's still a baby. He's still a juvenile. So he's not quite big enough to. I mean, he's not quite big enough to breed. He probably could breed, but he's not. I wouldn't put him in with the girls. They'd probably beat him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs some more size. He needs a lot more size. What? Yeah, he's probably, babe, I stacked all the, I stacked all the gargs together.
Okay.
Oh no, he's in
shed. Okay.
yeah, you want to tip him.
All right.
I can't find him. What?
Yeah, I know. She's like, I can't find him. I'm like, I stacked them all together.
Okay, I can see he's bacon is.
Yeah, you got to see him when he's not in shed. He's bright red. bright red.
Yeah, he's
And he's
gorgeous.
filling in more and more as he grows. So yeah.
Damn, that's fucking dope, dude.
And we do have another girl from Kalvaga. She's a new breeder.
Yeah,
So she has not given us eggs yet.
But she has bred, so she's gorgeous. Yeah, put him away. He's
sweaty.
Yeah. So being gecko people then, and I just want to know what's better, Apache or Pangea?
we don't really have a preference.
So is this your girl?
No, this
Yes.
is. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's her.
her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. You've already got her. Look at that. They're ahead of me. They already got her up there.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
I'm sorry.
Turner.
Yeah. Show you beautiful.
Yeah, this is her.
Super pretty.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Wait, she jumped into your rum.
She almost got my rum.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, No, that's a badass animal though. Dude.
Yeah. So she'll hopefully drop some eggs this year for us. She bred to Smog, the daddy of this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
hopefully she'll give us some killer babies.
I think I found Smog and Smog Jr. here. So is that them fired up?
That's
Look how red that is.
yeah.
That's
Yep.
him.
That's this guy right here.
And then this
That's-
must be Dad.
Yeah, that's Dad.
I love that deep. I mean, that's like a blood red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a deep red.
Yeah, I see why you held Junior back. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because Junior he's like his dad, but more. Like that's
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's gonna.
Way
I think it'll be a higher expression.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the definition on Smog Jr. Like he's very like clean between his red and like the rest of his pattern, you know? Yeah. Very nice. I don't know if that matters in gargoyles, but personal preference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think all these things are, just like anything, you like a green car or a red gargoyle, it all
Right.
depends what you really like in color wise. And that's why, that's why we do what we do. That's why we make all the different paint jobs on the ball pythons and,
Yeah.
and everything else that we do, because we want to have all the different colors, and it's our preferences, whatever we like.
For sure. I agree, Tracy. I actually love that about my geckos. It's almost like you get multiple different animals in one animal. Because like you have like your fired down, and then you have like when they're fired up, and then you get like that mid-range,
Well, not only that, but even with lilies, they go through such a transformation from when they're babies to now to like full grown. Matter of fact, grab one of our older lilies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to see some of them. They are
Yeah.
the high stack.
Yeah.
So we brought down some of our breeders tonight as well that we could show off, and two of our founders the two founders for our crested geckos from Lily Exotics. So first
Yes.
is Venom.
Your UK lineage lilies.
Yeah, so this is Venom. He's typically black and white. He's gray right now, and he's a little nutsy.
I love that. They are just fearless, man.
No.
They're just like, whoo.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
Fuck,
Yeah,
dude, that's crazy.
he's a pretty good boy.
That's like Gatorade piss yellow.
So he fires up white and black. So he's actually on this shirt here,
Okay, that's your guy.
Wow.
and that's Venom. And then she's looking for Iron Man, and nobody's fired up tonight. I'm sorry.
Of course not.
You getting Iron Man?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And of course they're arboreal, so they love to jump.
Oh, yes.
And then there's Iron Man.
Yeah.
Damn.
So when they hatch, they don't look like this. I wish I could show you how they look when
As a
they
baby.
come out of the egg. So they're widespread as they grow. And what comes out of the egg and maybe doesn't look like anything might turn into a completely white gecko.
You didn't bring.
That's so interesting. So So you guys probably hold on to your geckos for
We would love to hold everything. We
Yeah,
can't.
yes, right. But
Yeah.
like with ball pythons, right? It's almost like the opposite. Like they look best as babies.
Yeah.
So like we get them shed out, we get them eating, and like get them out the door. You know,
That's it,
like
yeah.
go. You know, for the most part, most look better as babies. There's your few exceptions that get better
Sure.
with age. But for you guys, it's probably like if you get something that you think like that looks pretty nice, or like, you're gonna hold on to it a little longer to kind of see if it is it gonna get better, or is it kind of gonna, you know, it's still gonna be a beautiful animal regardless, right?
Yes.
But it might do a complete transformation into something
Yeah.
that is white.
So this gecko, we were told this
Look
gecko
at that.
was garbage. You're not holding on the right spot. We were told this gecko. Can you grab Venom?
Yes.
We were told this gecko was garbage when we first showed it off. That it was
I remember that.
not worth
You
keeping.
guys got bashed real hard.
Yeah, we did.
Really?
Really bad that this gecko is not worth, because we actually had it up for sale for $700, and it was a baby, and it really had, you know, not much color to it, not much white, and it turned into this.
Wow.
So I'm glad we never sold it and we kept it, because
Is it a male or female?
this is a female.
Oh.
We've got one other one that we're holding back, a brother to this, or excuse me, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a brother to this that is 1 year younger. So,
Wow.
and it's turning out to look very much like this. So
That's amazing.
That's like the best looking one you've shown.
yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah, definitely. So here, I don't know if this is Iron Man fired up or not, but I found a picture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This
That's
is
Iron
Iron
Man.
Man. Fire
Yeah, yeah. So super pretty. So
Yeah.
explain to me the difference, and maybe it's just lineage wise, but what's the difference between a lily white and a harlequin, like an extreme harlequin? Like what's the difference there?
Oh, so when you talk about a harlequin, we are not. So it is an actual morph. The lily white, that's a gene. That's a codominant gene. That's what we talked about. There's only a few known in the crested gecko species. And a harlequin is simply a morph, like a pinstripe or a Dalmatian. So
a line bred trait.
yeah, basically
Okay.
trait, the pattern that the animal shows. So what you see here is lily white, but if you want to be very specific, it would be an extreme harlequin.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
All right,
that's the patterning on the side.
right. So lily white is like the line, kind of, right?
No, it's actually the white that they get. So they get
Okay.
a different white, then they get more of a paperish white than a non-lily.
Right.
And their pattern grows or gets, I don't know, it fills in more. And I've even noticed when we breed a lily to a non-lily and we produce a non-lily baby, they tend to be more vibrant as well.
Okay.
So
That makes
I
sense.
can't prove that, but I've just noticed it over the
Right.
several years that we've bred.
And you also, if you
And their
look,
eyes.
yeah, into their eyes, so they have
Too
like
close.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
No, she's good.
yeah, like a light colored eye, almost a light blue,
Right.
where a normal crested gecko just has a dark eye.
Yeah, it's a golden color.
Okay.
So then lily white is a true incomplete dominant mutation attached to an allele in the DNA.
Yes.
Whereas a harlequin is not polymorphic but polygenic, where
Yeah.
it's not a morph, it's a blood trait passed down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
There we
Because
go.
obviously I can tell that the lily whites are much whiter than,
Oh,
than
yeah,
the
you can see a
harlequins,
lily
right?
white.
You know, like harlequins had to get like that creamy color to them more so than an actual white. But pattern wise, again, from an untrained eye, looking at a lily white to an extreme harlequin, the side pattern and stuff looks very similar, although there are differences. So that's why I was just curious what the, you know, what the difference was there, but very, very interesting. The lily whites are gorgeous. I mean, that just blows me away. Like that animal right there is amazing.
So that animal right there, do you ever plan to sell it?
No.
No. No.
Can you sell it to me for $700? Like you had it listed?
Yeah, no.
if you decide to,
very
decide to let it
nobody
go.
wanted her.
Yeah, we're kind of glad they told us it was garbage, and we decided to keep it. You know?
Yeah. You know what? I think
speaking
that
of-
some of my best animals are the ones that people are like, oh no, you know, I throw it up there and people are like, oh, no one's ever going to pay that for it. And I'm like, well, that's fine. Then I'll just hold on to it. And then a year or a few years later, depending on if it's male or female, like it starts making all this really awesome stuff, or that gene goes through the roof. And then people are like, well, you had it listed for this price. I'm like, yeah, and you guys told me it was too much. And now, you know, I'm selling it for 3 times what I was asking for it then. So
that's how Desert Ghost was when I bought it.
yeah, sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, you know, for
Speaking
people
of-
to be that way.
Speaking of
Yeah,
which,
we got beat pretty bad with that gecko,
Ooh.
and the main antagonizer told us that he produces lots of these and he gives them away practically.
Yeah.
So
it was bad. You know, the Facebook groups, there's a lot of haters and mostly small time breeders. I'm sure you guys have experience with that. It's
Yes.
just
That's why I stay off Facebook for the most part.
yeah, I don't use Facebook.
Yeah, we do mostly Instagram now, but I will say in the beginning, had I not used Facebook and a lot of these groups and stuff, right? Like that's kind of how I got my name out there mostly on social media, I guess. Like people started recognizing like, oh, you know, I've seen you posting. But now we're at the point where, you know, eventually you just don't need to. People are going to come seek you out one way or another, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, those days are over and I'm glad. Because everyone is an expert when they're on Facebook. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, the 90-day know-it-alls.
Yes,
Like, I've been doing it for 3 months.
Or the sticker breeders.
yeah,
The sticker breeders, you know, never produce an animal, have stickers, you know, want to send them out to everyone.
My what do you call it? The box where it's the requested messages. It just says 9+, and if I go in there, I could just go like this, and it'll just all these sticker requests, dude. I'm like, no, man,
yeah.
I just, you know, fucking. But Liz here is actually the one who sold me my Monarch.
Oh,
Really?
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
very nice.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Beautiful.
I feel like I just gained a level of like interest in this conversation. Like, they were like, all right, who's this chick? And then we're like, oh, her. That's the one.
They came over and saw it as soon as I got it. Yeah. I was like, fuck yeah. Dude. He's in
It was a
show
very
right
nice
now.
animal.
Yes.
Oh, it's a
Extremely
very
nice.
nice animal. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, I've definitely like my Monarch project for sure. It's my first like recessive project that I got into it fairly early, right? I've been into the Monarch project now for 4 years, I think. So, man, it's interesting to have to build something like that kind of from the bottom up. You know, it's not like Clown and Pied where you can go out and buy like a 3 or 4 gene visual and then another visual and put them together and start making visual combos, you know? I've got a lot of stuff in my racks that people open that and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, well, it's a black pastel. And they're like, well, why do you have a black pastel? I'm like, because it's triple het Monarch hypopide, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
So I got a lot of really cool animals that just don't look very cool yet, you know?
Yeah.
But, and I'm sure you guys have that too with some of your animals, you know, when you're starting to kind of build different stuff, right? You've got to hold back stuff that you're like, oh, this might be something interesting, and then you know kind of go through it. So
yeah, that happens with the geckos right now, and then hopefully this year is the first year we're doing the snakes, and we've got some we got a few ball pythons, nothing outrageous. Actually, I got a bamboo pewter from Brandon, and I put him to 3 of my females, and hopefully they're all gravid. I know for sure the black pastel, she's gravid.
nice.
He's due any day now. And then I just got a normal and a champagne, nuclear champagne that he bred to.
Ooh,
So
nuclear. Interesting.
Yeah, you know, nothing super exciting. You know, next year hopefully we have quite a bit more growing up. You know, some more recessive stuff and some more codominant stuff growing out, and some. I've got a lavender het pied. I just picked up a pied het lavender from Bob Vu at NARBC. So I'm excited for that next year. Hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe I'll hit some dreamsicles next year. Yeah.
And you got a
Awesome.
desert
It sounds
ghost,
like you're
too.
going at it in like a really good way, you know. And I always think, especially when you're bringing in another species, growing that species organically is great, because I'm sure you guys are already busy with your geckos. You know, think about if you took your geckos and then mirrored your ball pythons instantly to how much work you put into your geckos. You know, it would just exactly. It's too much, too quickly, almost. You know, it's definitely good to start slow and make good moves, right? Like you said, a lavender het pied and a pied het lav. That's what I tell everyone to do when they're starting out, especially like if you can't get the double visual,
Buy the
get
A
the
to the B.
opposites, because then everything is at least 100% double het, right? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, you might get a clutch of, you know, all lavenders that are 66% het pied, but then you're just playing that catch-up game on if they're really het pied or not, you know? So definitely growing in a good way, you know, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then we've got some hognose that we've been building up. We got our first ones from Dave McGowan. I've always liked them. I always wanted one since I was a kid.
Yes.
Never had one. And a local guy here that actually helped me really kick off our business and show me the ropes with, you know, the shows and stuff like that and how to set up. And he let me tag along, and eventually we became really good friends. And he was into photography like myself, and we just really clicked. And you know, and now we kind of, you know, help each other out, just like Brandon helps us out. And but yeah, we've grown our hognose collection. I've got 4 females that I think will go this year, and one I'm really excited about is my super Arctic. She bred to an Arctic, so I should get some more supers back out of it.
I'm getting one of those babies.
Yeah. Hopefully, if I produce some, he's got one.
Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
as well, if you guys want to see him.
Yeah, definitely.
I love little shovel face worms.
Yeah, I have always wanted to get into the hognose. I think they're really awesome. But we're in Illinois, and so you can have them in Illinois, but you have to have USDA license to breed them, right? And own them and breed them, which I have USDA for my sugar gliders, so not a big deal. But then you have to have like phone number, name, address, and pretty much contact information for every person you've ever sold to for the past 5 years. And then you also have to have all the clutch records. You have to have records of like the female, when they laid, how many eggs they laid, where all those babies went, if the eggs went bad, which again is all stuff that I keep track of anyway. But the fact of like having to have that stuff available with like the snap of a finger if someone ever wanted to come in and like, you know, it's a lot, you know, it's a lot to make sure you have those records. And if someone moves and they don't tell you, like they don't call you and tell you, you can get fined because that person didn't make you aware that they had moved and or sold the animal within the past 5 years. So it's a lot of trust on like your customer basis too, right? Like making sure those people are going to reach out and keep you up to date. And it's
I'm sorry, that's too restrictive. I'm sorry, I'm not calling back somebody that I bought an animal off of. Unless I'm close friends with them. I'm not calling them back 5 years later. Oh, by the way, I sold that hognose.
And then they have to get name, address, information. Like you have to be able to track every single hognose that leaves your facility for at least 5 years.
So they just made it too much of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, you know, it's a lot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, the chances of you getting called on it are probably low, right? You know, but the chance is still there, and it's like, do you want to put all your other animals in jeopardy? Because once you get a USDA violation, even if the animals aren't under USDA restriction, they can still come in. So yeah, definitely some interesting restrictions on hognose in Illinois, for sure. Don't ever move here. It's horrible.
This is one of our first ones we picked up from Dave McGowan, Texoma Reptiles. This is an Evans hypo. And she is,
cool.
Yep, she's a full-grown female. So they're sexually dimorphic, if you didn't know that. Females tend to get a lot larger than males. Actually, I only brought one male over here, and actually he's kind of large for a male. But he's definitely a male. So
Yes.
you can count the scales on from their vent to the tip of their tail to find out if they're male or female. And when you get good enough, you can even tell if they're the length of the tails too and how thick they are.
Right.
But hopefully she'll become gravid this year. I think she is. I kind of feel a few in here, or at least growing follicles. So she's getting there. She's not quite swollen like my other girls. I got 2 other girls that I'm just not messing with right now. One is ready to shed, and hopefully 7 to 10 days later, she'll lay some eggs for us, and that's the Arctic. And then I have a normal possible het albino that we've bred her 3 years in a row now, and she hasn't given us a egg yet. So we'll see. But she's definitely a female. So I don't know what her deal is, but maybe the wrong male. I don't know, but
It happens sometimes. It sucks when it does, but
yeah.
we had
She's a really good eater. I call her Miss Piggy. Yeah, so that's one of them. I'll give you that. And then to give you an idea, this is a male. And like I said, he's a little big for a male. But this is a male here.
That is big for a male.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big boy for a male. He's a Super Conda Toffee belly.
Yeah, I was about to say, look at that fucking belly.
Yeah.
He's a toffee belly.
That thing is sick.
Yeah, and he went to a toffee girl I have, actually from Tim Harbin. In a roundabout way, this guy came from Tim Harbin too. I got him from a guy at a show. Come to find out, he got him from Tim Harbin. So
You mean Tom Harbin?
or Tom Harbin, sorry, not Tim. Sorry, Tom Harbin. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom Harbin.
Yeah, I was gonna give Tom a shout out. Another
Yeah, sorry about
grand,
that. Tom Harbin.
granddaddy of the monarch, and
Yeah.
he has some badass hog nose. I'm gonna be making some.
Oh yeah, he does. He has some really nice stuff, sable stuff, and Arctic stuff.
I already talked to him. I have money on the back burner to buy some really expensive investment hogs from him.
Yeah, no, he definitely has some nice stuff. I bought two off of him now.
Yeah.
Well, 3 if you count this one. Yeah.
Nice.
So
I'll have to help you out with that, Brandon. I'll have to live vicariously through you with my hog nose stuff. I'll be like, all right, Brandon, I want this hog nose. I'm going to buy it and have him ship it to you. Because I can't have it here.
That sucks so bad.
So you can kind of see the difference with a male's tail is much
Oh,
longer.
yeah, definitely.
Thinner, yeah.
And longer, yeah.
Yeah, longer, thinner. Yeah.
I like a lot of the albino stuff is real clean, like that albino toffee belly.
Yeah.
But the part of the snake that has pattern is always the head, and I love it because it looks like they're wearing a little lucha libre mask. And I always think of that when I see an albino hawk. They only have the mask, just like that one did. I was like, that's cute.
So this girl here, this is an extreme red albino.
Wow.
She is originally from JMG, and she came by the way of Rat Wrecker Reptiles. I got her for a very good deal. She's breeding this year as well, and she is just absolutely red. The video does not do her justice. She is bright
Even
red.
in the video, she looks really fucking
Yeah.
Yeah, she is strikingly red. Yeah, I put her to an xanthic head albino, so I hope we'll see how we do with those. Yeah.
Snow stuff in hogs.
Yeah.
Looks a lot better than snow stuff in balls.
Yeah.
And I think
and she's really friendly. She's a very good eater too. That's one thing great about hognose. When they're ready to eat, you know it. Their mouth comes open and they just come flying out of the cage.
Well, what do you feed? What do you feed your hogs?
So I feed these guys a array of stuff. I feed them frozen thawed. I feed them frozen thawed ASFs. I feed them live ASFs, live pinkies. They eat dead geckos that don't make it. So
there you go.
Yeah,
it's always nice to have a garbage disposal. I'd rather have something that doesn't go to waste than for something that weight, you know.
Yeah, and these guys, everybody always thinks that they're gonna get stuck on the lizard after they eat it, but I haven't had an issue with them. So, matter of fact, I got a few of them started eating that way. They just would not eat. And then this is Svenja's favorite here. This is a little female that we're growing up. Actual snow. So.
Ooh, I love the snow.
Yep. She's a really good one.
Yeah.
And she came from a guy in Washington State, a private breeder out there. So.
Damn,
That's
man.
awesome.
I love that.
I do too. That is super pretty.
Hogs are like
definitely a nice snake.
Yeah, I need to get me some fucking hogs. Like,
Yeah, I love them. I was so disappointed when I found out like all the stipulations and stuff for Illinois. They did recently lift the ban in Iowa, so they used to be able to not own hog noses in Iowa at all. But now you're just not allowed to own anything that's native, because they do have, like, in the very southwest tip of Iowa, they once found a hog nose. Like, that was pretty much how that went down. So now they're native.
And now they're native. Yeah.
Them native to, yeah. I mean, it was like one of those crazy ordeals. And so they did just now recently change the law to where you can keep anything that was non-native. So pretty much as long as you have paperwork that it was not caught out in the wild and then brought into captivity, you can keep them in Iowa now. And so we're right on the Illinois-Iowa border. We would actually like to get our facility over to the Iowa side. So if we ever do that, I'm literally 5 minutes from Iowa. I'm right on the Illinois-Iowa border. Yeah. So if we ever do that, then we'll definitely be diving into the hogs. They're just
they're so cool.
Their personalities too. Like, I just love them.
Yeah, I've got one. He thinks he's a cobra.
Yeah.
He huffs and puffs and flames out his neck.
Yes, they're they're just very unique. Like, in my opinion, like there's just not really another snake like them unless you're messing with hots. And even then, like your size difference, obviously. But like, they're just like these cute little. They remind me of like false water cobras, but they've got the little hog nose. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very interesting, and it's almost like they turn on and off their feeding response, because this one here, man, you can almost not stop her when it's time to eat. She knows when it's food time. She comes out, mouth gaping out, and she just, like, if you don't watch her, she's like 5 up in our tub thing, and she'll fall out trying to get the mouse.
Right, yeah. I've got a couple ball pythons like that, in all honesty. Yeah, it's crazy. I've got a couple. They're generally smaller or like hatchling juveniles or whatever. But I have one girl that I had to move to the bottom rack because she flew out of my little grow out tubs over here 3 weeks in a row, and she's like mid height, and she would just strike so hard that I literally was like catching her mid air and like trying to beat her at the same time. I finally moved her to the bottom. I'm like, we're not doing this anymore. We're done.
I've got a pair of rubber tongs that I feed them with, and sometimes they'll miss and they'll grab the tongs, and they're like pit bulls holding on.
They won't
let go. So you just grab them by that little rostral scale on the nose and lift up and unhook them, and just nice and gently. But I was starting to feed them with the metal ones, but I'm like, they bite on too much to the tongs, so I had to change them over to the rubber tongs.
Right.
But yeah, they're great eaters.
That's awesome.
Live feeding, baby. Live feed all day.
Yeah.
Drop it in there. And
man, I feed only live, and I've had some latch on to tongs still. Like, literally, I can't even get the rat in the tub quicker than the snake comes out. And usually they grab the rat, but then they wrap the tongs with the rat. Yeah. So I've got like 8 pairs of tongs. Like, it's ridiculous, because there's sometimes in my hatchling racks, like if I'm feeding, I'll just close the tub enough that it holds the tongs out, Yeah, and then when they let go, I'll pull the tongs out. So like I'll be feeding and I'll have 8 tubs or 5 or 6 tubs closed, like tongs sticking out, Like, that's always a bad week. I'm always like, man, I'm off my game this week, but it does happen.
Yeah, that extreme red, one time she grabbed the tongs, and they're so quick that she started eating up the tongs before I could even Like
Oh,
she was halfway up the
no.
tongue. I had to like get her an ejector off the tongue because
Oh my goodness.
they just
crazy.
work their way up real fast.
Yeah.
They're used to eating live food. I'm a, and kind of like bulldogging it. They don't constrict, so they just kind of push it up against the side and just kind of work it. And yeah.
That's very
This
interesting.
is the roof thing. That's dope.
All right. So backing a little bit more onto the gecko side of things, Rapashi versus Pangea, which do you feed and why?
We have both, first of all.
Okay.
Try to give them the whole variety. We have not noticed that any of the two foods is worse or better.
Awesome.
I've heard from different breeders that they believe the Pangea has not enough calcium. I cannot confirm that.
Yeah.
So they eat both, they like both, and we have not noticed a decrease in their calcium. Like you would see that when they lay their eggs.
Right.
And as long as you supplement them with crickets, actually should be their main. Yeah, just the crickets. Yeah, it should not.
Yeah. Do you notice like different flavors that your geckos prefer over others or anything like that?
Yeah, we've had flavors that we've not had as much, response.
Interest in, right? Yep.
But they still ate it, but it was like more picking at it than eating it.
Yeah, it wasn't as palatable.
Yeah, but like the mulberry was great.
Yeah, they went for that.
What's that other one?
The apricot.
The apricot. They really like that from Pangea. What's the other one?
We have a cherry bomb.
Yeah, cherry bomb
berry that we just started. It's meant to increase the red pigments in your like red gargoyles or
right.
Yeah, that's by a different brand though. That's
it is the Repashy.
Oh, that's a Repashy one. Well, there's another one, cherry bomb by
MBC.
Black Panther or something like that.
Yeah, BPC.
BPC.
That's another food brand.
Yeah, that we use every once in a while. There's another one I'd like to try, LaGuardia, or something like that. I'd like to try. I've heard very good things about it. We haven't gotten any yet, but we'd like to try that too. We try to like experiment it out a little bit to see if there is something that helps them grow better,
right?
Or just kind of give it a variety. Because, in the wild, they're not eating just one thing. So
yes, I was gonna say, I feel like a variety can help keep their appetite good too. Like I know one of the biggest things that I hear from mainly pet keepers, right, is that their geckos just aren't eating that much, right? Like they're eating, but they're not eating eagerly or readily, And I know some of the tips people have gotten is obviously trying different flavors, but I know when I had Cressies, the consistency was a big thing for some of them too. Like some of them liked it a lot more watered down. Some of them liked it more like a ketchup consistency. I had one gecko that would eat it just like pretty much powder. I mean, I'd put like a few drops of water in there, just enough to make it like almost an oatmeal type consistency, right? Or like a grit type consistency. And he would just eat the whole thing, like everything. But if it was too wet, he wouldn't touch it, So it's interesting to see their different preferences.
Yeah.
That we've got lychee lasagna, and what's the other one?
Yeah, Big Fat Gecko is another brand. Okay. So with the consistency, you got to watch that. I know you don't have geckos right now.
Right.
So the problem is a lot of people water it down too much, and it stops the crested gecko from getting all the nutrients. It's meant to have a certain consistency, a little thicker.
Okay.
So, we learned that not too long ago, right?
Good to know. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they're like obviously I figured there was a science behind why they made it the way that they did, but I didn't realize it affected the actual nutritional value.
It's like down like watering down a food or something like that of any
right.
You're adding too much liquid to it, so it's not getting all the nutrients or
right. Or it's almost like they're filling up on water. Right. Yeah, but they're not eating enough of the actual food because it's so liquefied.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very cool. I noticed like different locations in the cage made a big difference too. Like I feel like a lot of people put their food too low or they'll just like set it down on the ground, and I noticed most of my geckos like to prefer to eat higher up in their cage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they eat in the wild. I mean, they will not go to the ground and look for food. They will eat what they can find up high. So yeah, a lot of so with our hatchlings we do that. They are in the tubs and they have the little bottle cap, so they don't have a choice, but they eat.
Yes.
But as they grow bigger and you put them in higher enclosures, you want the food as high up. As I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Your English is pretty good.
Yeah, you're good. You're perfectly good.
Yeah. So you want to feed them up high in the enclosure.
Oh yeah. What about your warm-blooded stuff?
The warm, like my husband or my.
Well, I mean,
I love it.
We're done with that. We have 3
kids. We bred humans. We're done breeding humans.
Yeah. We're done.
All the trophies are finished.
Yeah, right. Shit. No, you're.
You guys work with a very interesting species, right? So we were talking about it a little bit earlier. I know a few people that work with the lesser tenrics, right? But you guys actually work with the greater tenrics, which I think is super cool.
Yeah,
definitely will be getting in touch with you guys about those if you decide that you're letting any go anytime soon.
Yeah, so we only have the one right now. Last year we introduced hedgehogs to our collection. I got a wonderful mentor, Luisa Potenza. And we were lucky enough to acquire one of those graded tenrics from her as well.
It's amazing. And he's not full grown. You were telling me earlier.
Not full grown.
He's still a baby.
So about how big will he get? Like, is he going to double in size, or is he almost full grown, or what are we looking at?
They can get about the size of a small kitten.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So he will get a little bigger.
Size.
He's so cute.
He is adorable, but they can get feisty. They are not as friendly as hedgehogs or lesser T-Rex or the long-eared hedgehogs. So he got me a couple times, and
right before we really started.
Yes, yeah. And I imagine that like domestication has something to do with that, right? Like I imagine they haven't been domesticated for a super long time anyway.
So he's captive born.
Okay.
He's the 3rd generation captive bred.
All right.
The second
generation.
Yeah, he's the 2nd generation captive bred.
F3 animal.
Right.
Yeah, technically, yes. Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they are not as, like you said, domesticated. They need a lot more work in order to get them tame.
Yeah. But he's fairly good though. I mean, for being a wild animal in a sense, he's still, he's handleable to a degree. I don't try to stress him too much. We take him out a little bit here and there. I try to watch him as close as I can because I was holding geckos and snakes, and that's what they're eating in the wild. They're eating insects.
Yeah. You can see him sipping around there. He's like, yeah.
So, I'm trying to keep an eyeball on him because he does have big teeth.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
So
then explain what a tenric is, because that's not a hedgehog.
No. So these guys come from Madagascar, and believe it or not, they're more closely related to elephants than anything spiny like this. Actually, their quills aren't really prickly. They do use them as a defense, but they're nothing. If you've ever felt a hedgehog, they don't feel like a hedgehog.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask that because I knew the lessers are almost soft. I mean, there's a prickle to them, but it's almost like a hard bristle brush, in my opinion. Exactly. Like a lesser tenric, Whereas a hedgehog, like when those things get mad, they spine up.
Yeah,
they can be a pretty good punch, if you get hit at the wrong time.
But
yeah.
I mean, this guy can give you a little poke, but it definitely does not feel like a hedgehog.
Yeah, you should be more scared of his teeth.
Yeah, definitely more scared of his teeth. And his claws are like Wolverine claws. So I don't know if I can show you these, but
I kind of saw his hand earlier and
they're
thought, yeah,
like
I mean,
mitts.
he's
I mean,
got
he
some
can hang
nice
on
nails
pretty
there.
good. They climb pretty good.
Wow.
He's there's his paws there to give you an idea.
Wow.
They
They're
are
so cool.
They're actual hands, so they
They're
hold
like-
on to stakes.
they can grip things.
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are wonderful climbers. Actually, the very first night we got him, we had him in a tub, like a big
You
plastic
know,
tub.
something like you would keep a hedgehog in.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he managed it to climb out.
Oh my gosh. I bet that was a fun next day.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had to tear apart a speaker.
A subwoofer. He decided to crawl into one of our subwoofers. And we had to
Oh,
we learned our lesson. He's now in the vivarium.
Yeah.
yes. Oh my gosh.
So they don't see very well. They have very tiny eyes, if you can see,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and they have a lot of whiskers, and they can feel pretty well, but they can smell amazingly well, and they eat all sorts of stuff. They will anything they can overpower, they will eat. So the lady we got him from said
He ate a chick.
he ate a chick, a full-grown chick.
Wow.
And he's not much bigger than a chick, but he
No.
Yes.
Um,
they
so he eats quite a bit.
they eat like reptiles, so you do not feed them like you feed a hedgehog.
Right.
These guys, they eat insects, mice, rats.
Yeah.
No vegetables or fruit.
Yeah, they're insectivores / omnivore. I mean, carnivores.
Carnivores.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So how rare is the tenric then right now?
So there's not many people in the U.S. that have these. Not even many zoos that have greater teneracs. Most of the zoos and local people that do actually own them are the lessers. And so there's some zoos that have streaks.
Yeah.
Streak teneracs, and then the San Diego Zoo does have a greater tenerac. That's the only zoo that I found that actually had one. I'm sure there's other zoos, but that's the only zoo I could find that had a greater tenerac at it. So
you as a private keeper got your hands on it.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty
Yeah.
badass.
We were really, really lucky.
Yeah, super lucky
to get him. Like I mentioned, my mentor Louisa, she imported them. So between her and some of her friends, they imported a bunch and started to breed them in captivity. And we are very lucky to have him.
Yeah, that's
Super awesome.
So I don't want to stress them out too much more. I'm going to put them.
Yeah, go ahead and put them back.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you for showing him to us. That is awesome.
And Svenja, you got other warm-blooded stuff too.
Yes, I also started to breed African pygmy hedgehogs.
Oh,
Yes, I started last year. I have some here if you want to hand me one, Michael. Yeah, so it started with one pet hedgehog because, I like animals. So I wanted a little pet for myself besides the reptiles. And from there, it just started.
Like everything else.
that's how my sugar gliders started. I was like, I want something because I love my reptiles, right? But I'm like, I want something that's like cuddly and personable and cute and like,
Yes,
doesn't just sit around all day, right? Like I want something that's fun. And so I got my first glider and then it
yeah, they are wonderful. I was this close to get some too, but they are noisy and we have little kids and they need to sleep at night.
Yes.
That's why we have hedgehogs. You just hand them.
I'm getting all the stuff
Okay.
off of them.
It'll be fine.
He's got his bedding and his quills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Ash.
Yeah, this is Ash. He's a syndicate. That's what the coloration is called. We got him recently. I got a few more. We are up to 8, 9 hedgehogs now and 1 gravid female.
So we'll have some babies soon.
Yeah.
Very cool.
These guys are here. There's the camera.
Yeah.
These guys are real fun.
Yes, I've been wanting to get into the hedgehogs. They're so cute.
Fun and cute, but you do have your license, your USDA license.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need that to breed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, to own one, you don't need it, but to breed them, you have
more,
to have
more
it.
than 4 females, you have to have your
Right.
license.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they are still banned in some states to even keep as a pet.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you gotta
Yeah.
watch where you sell them to.
Yep. Gliders are that way, like California, Pennsylvania. I think
Yeah.
New York might have a ban on gliders
Yes,
as
New York.
well.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not very many places, but the states that do have laws on them are very strict. Like even with the gliders, you actually don't need a USDA license to breed unless you have 4 or more females in the same household.
Yes.
So, yep. But
Yeah, and like your sugar gliders, we have to keep strict lineage on these guys.
Yeah.
So you can't like 1% or
No, it's-
0.01% inbreeding.
0.02%
Oh,
inbreeding.
excuse me.
really?
That is like it is super tight.
Wow, that's super crazy. Yeah,
That is
definitely.
fucking
Yeah, so you gotta like really look at the lineage real close to make
Yeah.
sure nothing is crossing over.
Yep, I was gonna say because the gliders are obviously lineage, but some
don't
people say I personally like to say under 2%, and some people say it's even safe to go up to 3%. But inbreeding, but they're marsupials also, so obviously genetics are a little bit different there.
Yeah.
But the main thing that people also look at, so we call that the COI, right, which is the coefficient of inbreeding, is the percentage that we look at. But another thing that a lot of people fail to look at with the gliders is you actually want to look at the kinship chart too. So sometimes your COI will be within range, but then when you go and actually look at like the closest relative, they're only like second cousins, and that's not safe to breed. So you want to make sure they're at least 4th generation out. So that's kind of another interesting part of it. But yeah, most of my gliders are under 1%, which is considered like really hard. It's like really hard to get gliders that are under 1%.
Yeah.
But we also are only working with a gene pool of 250 original animals. And once they brought those animals over, they said no more. Like we're not allowed to import anymore. So it's a small. It sounds like a lot, right? Like 250 gliders sounds like a lot, but it's a small gene pool to be mixing in and out of. So
yeah, I mean you have like 1,000 breeders in the US, maybe 2,000. I don't know. So
yes,
but try to keep that gene pool.
Yeah.
It's rough, dude. So what other warm-blooded stuff do you have?
Say that again.
What other warm-blooded stuff do you have?
Well, we have dogs.
Yeah, we have dogs.
We have children.
No, we don't like those.
Yeah.
Those should have been culled. They should have been culled right off the rip.
Yeah.
But
Brandon,
what?
I have a 6-year-old. She will be my only child, but I do love her.
Oh, love and money, and I love money.
Yeah.
Well, so no, I'm talking about your guinea pigs, dude.
No, the guinea pigs are gone.
No,
I used to breed guinea pigs, but yeah, we don't have them anymore.
Yeah, we downsized them. They got to be just too much work.
Yeah.
And
I understand that.
More on these guys. This was a lot more fun, a lot more interesting. The guinea pigs were
the work you put in, you don't get back. That's what it is.
Fair enough.
I have chinchillas.
Oh, cool.
And I kind of feel that way. I have a trio of chinchillas. Yeah. But like an expensive chinchilla is like a couple $100, you know, which I know you guys are working in that same kind of price range for some of the hedgehogs, like your normal range. But I mean, by the time you buy food, hay, toys, the time, the dust for their dust baths, like all this stuff, and they only have 1 to 2 babies per litter every 4 months, you know, so I may be getting anywhere from 3 or 4 to maybe 6 or 8 babies out of them a year. So I may be making $1,000, you know. It's like, man, by the time you count all that in, it's, you know, it'll never be. And I also don't breed them. Like I don't male breed my chinchillas. Like a lot of people keep them in like a little cage and then they run a male to multiple females and stuff like that.
I've been in a facility. It's
you know, it's interesting.
Wild.
Yeah,
like,
it's interesting.
The collars they put on the males, they call them
they put them on the females.
chastity collars.
Yeah,
that's
they
what they're
put
called?
metal collars on the females
Yeah.
because a chinchilla is really all hair, right? Like
Oh,
their actual
polygamy.
body.
Polygamy collars. That's what they're called.
Polygamy collars. And so they put
Yeah.
these collars on the females. Yeah, they put these collars on the females and they put a hole that's big enough for the male to run through. So the male can run to 5 to 6 females at one time. But the females can't fit through the hole because of this collar. So the female is isolated to her own individual cage, but then the male can run in to breed the females. Then once the female's pregnant, they close it off. But it's a very interesting system on how they run through this. My chinchillas are spoiled, and they're in like this giant mansion of a cage.
When I have
and
chinchillas,
so I don't run my male to that many females at once. But yeah, so there's definitely different ways to do it for sure. A lot of those people, although they do sell for pets, they also breed for pelt reasons as well. So it's a little bit of a different, a lot of show. It's a little bit of different atmosphere for sure. But they're just for me. I like them. I think they're cute. They're the softest animal in the world. So the chinchilla, and then the sugar glider is the second. So I have the first, and I like soft. I like soft, for sure. But they're a lot of fun. They're cute. They're amazing climbers. Believe it or not, like they'll climb straight up the side of a cage. It's very interesting. They can jump extremely well.
Very well.
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting. They're definitely a lot of fun. But I totally get where you're coming from, where there's a lot more work that goes into this and expense that goes into it than people realize.
Yeah.
You were buying boxes of lettuce, and it would go through in like a week.
Yeah.
Eat all day, every day, and
they poop a ton.
Yeah.
And the pig actually poops 300 times per day.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's where you get it's almost like with the feeder rodents, is where you get to the point where like I'm pretty sure they just walk and like poop like constantly. Like there is no like it's just constantly going through them. But definitely. Their noise. I do like the guinea pigs though. Their noises are so cute. They're little squeaky.
They are cute. They really are, but it was not worth it. And,
That's something where it's like, if you truly love guinea pigs and you had spare money to put into a hobby, that's all that would be. I miss my chinchillas, man. Now I kind of want some again.
And Brandon's like, now I want chinchillas again.
Yeah, they're the most intelligent rodent in the world. They're so smart and
This little guy here.
Oh, look at him!
He's
so cute.
That's one of our babies that we produced from our first litter.
Oh wow!
He's not happy. Wait.
My hedgehog is never happy.
I love the dark faces.
Yeah,
I really like that in the hedgehog.
She's not all black, but she's a full mask.
Yes.
Yeah.
Super cute.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're pushing almost an hour and 40 minutes here.
Yeah.
Unless anyone in the comments got any more questions, we ran through everything that we had for you tonight. I think this was great. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you for sure.
Now we're about to do the hard part.
Yeah. All right. Now we have like a little revolution round that we go through here, and it's pretty much just questions that we fire off, and you give us like the first thing that pops into your head. Okay. Fast. So since there's two of you tonight, what we'll do is we'll like alternate, right? So like, one can go first on the first question, and then one will go first on the second, but we'll have you both answer.
Oh my God. All right.
All right. Brandon, start it off.
All right, Svenja, you're going first. What's your 1 rep max for bench press?
My what?
So how much can you like bench press, like on a weight bench? How much can you lift? Like what's your 1 rep max?
Oh my gosh. At 150 pounds.
There you go.
That sounds pretty realistic. Mike, what's yours?
My wife.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good answer.
We don't show that.
Ah!
We won't ask you how much that is, Sonia. No.
No.
All right. Next one. How do you say, like when you're talking about the candy, okay? Do you say caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
Caramel, baby. Yeah, boy, caramel.
What you, Sonia? How do you say it?
Caramel.
Caramel. All right.
Oh,
Man, I lost on both of them. Man, I say caramel. Brandon says caramel. There's a huge debate, like, I don't know, several episodes ago before we were on YouTube. So now we have to ask everyone.
Before we were on YouTube.
Yeah. When we were still doing our Instagram lives.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, you got the next one.
Pick one type of gecko.
Like, if you could only have one, what would you pick?
Forever.
Whatever.
Only one, ever.
Lychee.
Period.
Lychee.
Lychee, yep, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. That's a no-brainer. Lychees are all the way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very
Yeah,
cool.
I would have picked satanic leaf tail, but you know.
They're too fragile. I like them.
They-
Don't get me
they-
wrong. I like them, but
Yeah, I've heard they're very. See,
Mine-
I would have said lychee like before this, right? But after seeing those lily whites, I'm like,
well,
man, I don't know. Those are really nice.
Yeah, they are.
well, they're
Yeah.
gorgeous for
Well, I
sure.
said if you ever decide to sell that female, you give me a
Yeah.
call.
She's gonna be big bucks.
What kind of other bucks do I have?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
Mike has seen my secrets. He's seen my collection. He knows my
Yeah.
secrets.
I'm zip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you give me a virtual tour someday, Brandon, because just when I think I know what this dude has, and I know most of it, he posts something. I'm like, where the hell were you hiding that?
Yeah.
It's just it's usually in a tub over there or behind me, or
Yeah.
they're usually somewhere. I don't fucking know.
All right. Let's see. Next one here. If you had to pick lizard or like gecko or snake, which would
Snake
you go with?
all day. Snake all day.
Uh-oh.
Lizard.
Okay, guinea pig or hedgehog?
Ah, like to eat or to keep as a pet?
I love it.
Both.
Both. Yeah, right?
Both. Well, then I guess the guinea pig. I don't think hedgehogs are proven to be tasty, so the
Yeah,
guinea
try peeling one of those things too. I don't
yeah,
know.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Miss the spike. That would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah. Yeah,
Fuck that.
to keep definitely hedgehogs,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
yeah.
But to eat a guinea pig for sure.
Yeah. So I tell people all the time, Svenja, Mike, I don't know if either one of you had it. When I was in Germany, there was a place, it was pretty famous. It was called Steak on a Stone. Have you ever ate there?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So you can order, it's like 7 meats and 7 sauces, I think. And they bring it out, and it's one giant slab of lava rock. And it's
Yeah.
like really hot. And then all your meats are down here and all your sauces are up here. But I ordered like kangaroo, shark, alligator, beaver, bear, and otter, and something else as my meat. There was nothing on there that was like common. I think guinea pig was the last meat. And then in Slovenia, I had rabbit as well.
Rabbit.
Yeah.
When I was in Australia, I went up to they're like Space Needle, like they have there. And I went there and I ate all different things like ostrich and emu and saltwater crocodile and all that type of stuff, wombat and whatnot. That was an interesting
I
one.
was just about to. No eating of the cactus rats.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I can't-
Little ouch mouse.
kangaroo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had kangaroo. That's all we got, guys. That's it.
Yeah. Kept it
Oh,
right around
wait.
2 hours. We did it.
Wait, we missed one.
What did we miss?
How are you revolutionary?
Oh yeah, man.
Revolutionary.
That would have been bad. That's like the whole thing.
Brandon asked.
I guess I'm not at all. I'm German. We don't have stuff like that.
They screwed up.
Oh no.
Were you about to make a they screwed up in the 1942 joke?
No, we're not, Brandon. We're just gonna take him out. All right.
Yeah.
Brandon got kicked off. No,
It was about to get real bad.
no.
Do you build a wall in your house when you guys get mad at each other? Do you divide the east and the west side by a wall? Is that what you guys do when you're in a fight?
They knocked that down in the 80s, 89. Yeah.
Yeah, you're after you got ball pythons.
I've been there.
There's a correlation. I know it.
I sent him to the east because he's part Polish.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. So you conquered him first. That's how that went.
yeah.
And then the U.S. had to come bail you out.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I can't talk because I'm Native American, but my husband is Jewish and German. So I mean, you know.
So your husband's at war with himself and all your people.
Yeah,
all your people live in concentration camps in the U.S. How fucked is that? What, did it get you real up in here?
Oh, we were doing so well, Brandon. We were doing so good. You were behaving yourself
And
so
it is very
I'm getting my second win, dude. I can't stop now. Hey, you know you can't.
Started this by saying I'm German. I don't have that. And so blaming it on you.
You can't even introduce your husband to Svenja. He might end up in an ashtray or something.
Oh, man.
Okay. Anyway, let's get back. I would not say you guys are not revolutionary. You just told us a bunch of stuff. You brought animals over from Europe that haven't been here before. You own probably one of the only greater tenrics in the United States.
Yeah.
Come on now.
right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You guys started all this, right? Bringing animals over. You're working with the lily whites. I mean, those are pretty up and coming and new.
I wouldn't say we were the first. Obviously, we weren't, but we were one of the first few people to bring them over to the U.S. I think we're the only ones in Oklahoma that work with them.
So
Exactly. You know, you guys have got to give yourself some more credit there.
Yeah. We've done quite a bit in for the industry, I guess you could say.
Since 1988.
88, yeah.
Back when crested geckos were extinct.
Let me see. Well, let's just put it this way. I was born in 97.
97? That's the year I graduated high school.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
fun fact, my date of birth, if you reverse it, it's the year I graduated. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's fucking wild.
It only happens once every 11, like if you do it, is it 11 years, I think?
Right.
Like that, yeah. It only happens 9 times in a decade. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here, but we're closing the show.
Yeah.
But we're also supporters of USARK, so
yes, guys, links are in the description down below.
I'm going to make sure people are supporting USARK. So.
And before we dip out, where can everyone find you, get a hold of you to buy some high-end geckos and shit?
Wait.
We don't have to get
I didn't sign up for this.
We don't have the pigs anymore.
I didn't sign up for this business, right?
Yeah, no, we are on Instagram, Marvelous Reptiles. On Instagram, we do not have a Facebook anymore. I just have a private account there, but you're more than welcome to send me messages.
And then Morph Market, obviously.
Morph Market, of course.
Yeah.
I have a hedgehog kill stuck in my thumb.
Ooh.
So you just throw it.
Yes.
It's one of those ones where like you get it and you don't realize it till you bump it, you know, and then you're like, "Ooh."
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
Yes.
And then we're working on a website. Eventually, we'll hopefully one day have one of those as well.
Finish it. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have a website and there's nothing on it. Like, I'm pretty sure I pay every year for a website.
you
and
know,
it's just a
why
web
even
page.
do it nowadays when you got Morph Market, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
once you have
between
Morph
Morph Market and Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, you know, and
it's-
all that stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't need a landing page. You know, we've talked about if we ever end up selling like product. I feel like that's where you really need a landing
Yeah.
page. Like, you know, if you guys make your own line of gecko food or something, like people can
That's
order
one thing.
consistently, you know, that would be something. But for just animals where it's constantly having to update in stock, out of stock, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
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 No, I
especially
agree.
Morph Market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. We really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you for
This is a
inviting
lot
me.
of fun and a lot of great information. Very, very cool. Very
Yeah,
fun.
dude, I had fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night. Bye bye.
You too.
Bye, guys.
All right.
That's some good shit right there.
Yeah. I was going to say, we kind of summed up a lot of it at the end there already.
Yeah, we got a lot of good info, guys. They live like 20 minutes from me. I've been to their place. Their shit, they don't have a lot of it, but the stuff that they have is really high end.
Quality over quantity. We say
Yeah,
it all the time.
all the time. They specifically like would go to shows and like not buy anything, and they would just be like, "Well, I saw stuff I wanted, but I didn't see it at the level I wanted it at."
Exactly.
That's
For
I'm
sure.
telling you, that's gonna set them apart long term.
Definitely.
So next week we're not gonna be here,
No, I will be in Florida.
and I will be. What's next week? Fuck, I'll be in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I'll be in,
we will be visiting the St. Augustine Alligator Farm. It's the only place in North America where you can see every type of crocodilian. So I may potentially be going like live on the Reptile Revolution Instagram page while I'm there, just to kind of give people, you know, some ideas. Otherwise, I might just compile a video to do afterwards and kind of throw it together. Maybe post it up here and on my YouTube channel. Not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing with that yet, but it should be fun. I've never been, Max. I'm super excited. I'm kind of hoping to maybe get some behind the scenes tour kind of stuff going on. We're also going on several kayaking trips while we're down there. We're going to head down to the salt springs, hopefully see some manatees. So not necessarily completely reptile related, but if you guys like marine life,
that's still pretty cool though.
hopefully there'll be some fun stuff. Yeah.
Revolutionary, damn it.
Revolutionary. Yeah, I bought the whole like underwater, like I can go up to like 700 feet, you know, under waterproof camera cases, you know, so I could actually take video underwater and stuff while I'm there. So it should be fun.
That's dope. And then I'll probably, I didn't even talk to Liz about this because I made this decision this recently. So the week after you get back, I'll be here Wednesday for the show.
Okay.
First week of June. But then that weekend is my sister's birthday, and since I'm now a free man, I may come and go as I please. And it just so happens on the day of my sister's birth, I'll be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where my family's from, and there's a Reptile Roots show that weekend. So I'll probably go live there.
Nice.
Take some stuff. If they have any good stuff, I'll buy. I'm going to try and get a behind the scenes at Hannah's Hissy Fix. She's who I got a lot of my mahogany pied stuff from. Hannah is amazing. She has full-grown leucistic Burmese pythons. She has, badass. Baller's Garage. That is the weekend of my sister's birthday is the 6th. So
the 6th.
Yeah, of June. So I'll be
Oh man,
there.
my birthday's on a Wednesday this year.
When's your birthday?
Fun stuff. My birthday's the 9th.
Oh shit.
69, man. It's like the easiest birthday ever to remember.
So in 2006, my sister was born on 666. 6 days, 6 months of the 6th year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm June 6/9.
Yeah, 6
So,
9,
yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I'll probably be going live there, and I'll probably make some stuff for a video or whatever. But Yeah, but I'll be up there in Pittsburgh. Guys, don't fucking hang out with me. I'm not going to be in a good mood. I don't like being there. Send me. Yeah, I will send you.
Right as you're saying, I'm not hanging out with anyone.
Sorry, Dave. Fuck you. No, I'm just playing, dude. I will literally only be there for like an hour or two with my girlfriend and my sister. It'll be go and turn and burn probably, unless I see something that I really like giant Burmese pythons that are leucistic. But I won't be buying any. Have some. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Oh, I love you guys.
Awesome.
For real.
All right,
That's
guys,
shit.
we appreciate all of you. Thank you very, very much. We had a lot of fun, and we won't be here next week, but we will be back on the 2nd of June.
And we'll put out the week we're not here, we'll put out a announcement list probably for the next
hopefully
thing.
Maybe. We'll see.
I got a thing. Yeah, we'll see.
All
We're
right.
both going to be busy traveling. We'll talk to you guys in a couple weeks later.